talent, and we're talking about AI products. Today I invited Andrey Chernogorov. He is the CEO and founder of Cognitive Technologies, a company which is making vehicles, autonomic vehicles and self-driving cars. And we decided to walk in Park Gorького, which is the biggest park in Moscow. You will like it. Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, good morning. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Well,
yeah.
Let's have a walk.
Yes. So the first question, as usually, it's about your background. Can you share all that was before your business?
Yeah, well, I have a long story, maybe it's the third generation already that's been around AI, because, it comes back to my grandpa, who in 1974, he was in the team of 5 responsible for the world's first computer chess champion. It was called CAISA, and they held a competition in Stockholm where it beat actually the Stanford algorithm based on IBM, and they did their own hardware and software too. And well, still, when I Google for chess algorithms, the only one which is still around is the one invented back in 1974 by my grandpa. And at that time already, his lab was called an AI lab in a Soviet research university.
Wow.
And well, then it was my mom who stepped up, and now it's me, who goes on those things.
So all your family is in AI?
Well, yeah, has been and still is.
Yeah, impressive. So about technology and about your product. Let's start with the product. Can you tell me what is the benefit which your business brings to people and to businesses also?
Yeah, like basically what we do. I mean, basically we are in AI for ground transportation. So we do driverless ground systems. It's a bit broader category than just self-driving cars. And when we started exploring this, it was in 2014, I think. About 5 years ago now. The situation was like, it was complete zero. There was nothing around. But like after the first success we got on the CES in Las Vegas with our full scope technology, we were approached by a number of large tier 1 and automotive companies, and they narrowed down our scope. They said, well, how big are you guys? We said like about 100 engineers. I said, all right, then you should be focused on like one thing, but you should nail it perfectly, and you should do it like best in class, best out of all. And we picked that thing, and that thing turned out to be the perception part. I mean, in the whole, surprisingly, I know, for some, it seems that driving on the ground is easier, for example, than to fly or to sail. But that's not. I mean, you have many obstacles of a various form, and their behavior is very unpredictable.
Yeah, especially pedestrians.
Pedestrians, that's the most that's the hardest part of it.
Or road in Russian winter.
Yeah, or just Russian drivers. You have seen many footage. You have seen a lot of footage from dash cams,
Yeah, right.
So, this kind of stuff actually doesn't let the self-driving cars to go on the roads. And well, the bottleneck is the perception. So you should teach the AI systems how to see, how to perceive the world, how to get the shape of the moving objects and how to differentiate them. So that's where we focused. Our product is the ultimate perception system for any kind of self-driving ground system. And we supply it to different industries. So we do it for railways, we do it for harvesters in agriculture, and of course we do it for automotive.
And in Las Vegas, you had just technology or already a product?
It was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, so it was technology still. Now we have products and we ship them, but like 2 years ago, it was only a concept and a technology. But still, we showed some good results in terms of accuracy, because it's all about metrics. It's all about the tens of persons that you can get, because every tens of persons, like virtually, is a human life. So if you fail to understand that this object is a human and you think that's not, or vice versa, well, potentially that's a killed person, and that's a showstopper for the whole industry, because the level of tolerance towards human casualties is around zero. I mean, if you, for example, if you come up to I don't know, any government institution or just to a society in a broad sense, and say, well, look, you have more than 100,000 people dying each year on the roads, and we put forward a technology that's gonna cut this number by half. Is that okay? No. Okay, we're gonna give you a technology that only kills 100 people a year. Is that okay?
No.
They say no. Okay.
One.
Okay, yeah, only one people. We will choose it together. I mean, him or her. We will, and that's gonna be a sacrifice to the Lord of AI.
Universe.
Yeah, and is that okay? No.
No, sure no.
No. Only zero casualties is okay, and that's why, in this sense, you have to have actually 5 nines. I mean, 99.999 in accuracy.
Well, what can you do to overcome this problem?
There is not a single silver bullet.
Yes.
So it's you should address this issue from different sides. For example, you have a software component, so you have to have a really robust algorithm that's trained, that's verified, and that has many kilometers that it's passed. But it's one side. Another side is the hardware itself, the sensor part, because everyone was crazy about lidars, because lidars offered cheap and quick win, and everyone installed this on their roof and started riding along Californian roads. That was okay when the weather is like this.
Yeah, right.
But like when it snows or when it rains, or I don't know, when you have fog, the lidars just fail. It's not that they are less accurate, they just fail. And then you need to have something else. And well, the next trend, the next generation is about the radars. That's what we do. That's what we do too. I mean, we do the sensor part too. We do camera and a radar solution, which is robust to weather, which is robust to challenging weather conditions and stuff. So that's the second part of the solution. And the third part, of course, you have to have a lot of testing. Have a lot of testing in real life, because for example, if you are about scenarios, you can train your AI models in simulators. But if you are about perception, you only have one option. You need to go to real streets and have real footage. Of course, things like dash cam footage, crowdsourced footage, and like large fleets that can be deployed, like taxis or something, they help. And one more thing why I believe that Russians are okay here and they can perform is that we have no regulation, no regulative limitations on that. For example, in Germany you cannot film on the roads. Well, it's like a privacy issues and things. But in Russia you can just put a dash cam on your torpedo and just go and have the footage you need. And you can source this footage from other drivers.
Well, what will be the first city packed with self-driving cars?
really, there are two answers. Well, first of all, I think that the first city is already around. I mean, it's San Francisco. Most of the cars are there. But what you're really asking about is what will be the first city when you can just buy a car as a user. You can just go to a dealer and buy a car, and you can just ride on it in automotive autopilot mode. And the answer is I don't know. I mean, probably it will be kind of a global thing. I mean, things will evolve, and a certain model of big automaker will have these features, and they will be unlocked for the whole country or for the whole region.
And what we actually need for that? Is there any difficulties in?
Yeah, the limitations are on the technological side. Still, I mean, the whole industry is at the level of about 2 nines. I mean, 99% of accuracy without these 3 nines after comma.
Okay.
And when we, well, if you want to like an approximation, I think that each year or maybe each 2 years will give us 1 more 9 after comma. So maybe after 4 or 5 years, the algorithms will be robust enough to have these 5 nines, and they can really come out in the streets. I hope that the forecasts are pessimistic as always, and the reality will be, I mean, will come faster than we expect. But at the present time, the limitations are there. And well, I forgot to mention, there is one more challenge. The challenge among chip makers, because you need to make it cheap, you make it fast, and you need to have all the calculations on board of a car. It means that the architecture of the microprocessors, the architecture of well, GPL and the whole setup which is on board of a car should be adjusted to the algorithms. Now we see that algorithms are evolving faster than the hardware. So the hardware also limits the progress.
Well, if there are so a lot of problems with cars, where you can use the same technology?
Well, yes, automotive is a huge market, but it has like this inertia, and it has great issues as well. But the same technology we can use in the industries that are regulated by their own set of rules, or that don't interfere with that amount of I don't know, human interference. For example, we can have driverless harvesters, or we can have driverless agricultural tractors or sprayers, and that can deliver immediate ROI, because you know the human are imperfect, well, to say a few, and they cannot perform repetitive tasks with a good and predictive level of quality. And for example, when you have, for example, in Russia, which is in top 3 of agricultural market, well, here you have only 2 weeks frame where you can harvest, and well, you have this whole year of preparation, and only 2 weeks where you actually can get the yield. And if you miss it, or if you do it inefficiently, the whole year was wasted, and you get the losses, like tremendous losses. And at this point, you want to have a robust algorithm that doesn't drink alcohol, that doesn't steal from you, that does it with a great level of accuracy. For example, just to give you an example, when a human driver is at the wheel of a harvester, well, he can go like, well, I mean, his accuracy is plus like negative or positive meter.
Wow.
And
Is he dancing like while driving?
I mean, it's hard because the wheel is doing like this. And actually, there's a joystick, but still, there's a huge vehicle, and the terrain itself is uneven. I mean, it's not smooth. So you put a lot of effort to just keep it in a line. When we apply our algorithm, which is actually a plug-in device, so it's just a box with a camera. You just plug in the box, you install a camera like this, and you let it go. And it goes, the accuracy of the whole system narrows down to only 8 centimeters. So it trims it perfectly. But in terms of the whole field, it gives you like 30% more of a possible yield you can get from it. So that's a huge level up in terms of efficiency. Well, that's one example. Another example are the railway systems, because still city trams, just trains, never mind the cargo trains or passenger trains, they are driven by human, and they have a lot of problems with collisions and damages and sudden stops because of I don't know, lots of factors. And for example, to drive a train, you need to have a team of 2 or 3 people working round the clock, changing in different stations. Well, that's a huge infrastructure. For example, in Russia, there are more than 500,000 people driving trains. Well, if you look at the cabin of a train, one person, well, his job is ultimately to watch for the obstacles. He does just this. I mean, that's the co-pilot or whatever you call it. Well, he only he needs to monitor the surroundings and and look for anything that might go wrong.
Where's the cat over there?
Stop it! Yeah. But the thing is, so we can cut this head count by half, because that's a very easy job for an algorithm, and ultimately we can just make it driverless, because the task is a great deal simpler than you have like in a car, because the trajectory is set, and the camera is always at the same height. It doesn't yaw or roll, so you just
or sleepy.
Yeah, it's very predictable. But there are issues. For example, well, you cannot just brake and it won't stop. It will stop after some kilometers.
Right.
So sometimes you see the obstacle, but you cannot react. Well, there are issues, but still, that's a huge potential for building efficiency, economic efficiency, because each accident with a train costs lots of money in terms of infrastructure damage, and lots of money in terms of logistics problems. I mean, there's a whole chain that will be affected after one accident. So that's the second example where we can make a change right now with our technologies. Because basically our technology is about moving objects of different shape and linear objects. Linear objects like road, like lane marks, rails, and they are all crop rows, and that's all the same from the point of view of an algorithm. And moving objects are also quite similar. I mean, the pedestrians, they also trying to cross railways. They trying to go in the field.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't like to hurt them. And maybe there are some applications. No, it's not like maybe we see them. And we address them, the implications in closed-circuit industrial processes, in mining, in large factories, inside factory logistics, these kind of systems, they also require AI to perform without human.
Okay. So, talking about your own perspectives and ambitions, where do you want to move your business? Like Russia? What other countries?
We think that like these issues with countries or nationalities, they don't exist actually in these markets. So everything is very global. You can have this part of algorithm from this part of the world, another part from that part of the world, and big guys like automotive companies, or they are tier 1 suppliers, they assemble this solution from different parts of the puzzle. And we want to be one of these parts of the puzzle, one of these suppliers, and we actually want to keep our R&D in Russia because we feel very strong scientific school, very strong mathematic background in our engineers. We have 2 dedicated departments in major Russian universities where we source talents from, and we on that level we compete with other global companies that try to headhunt for them. And in this meaning, we want to stay in Russia, but we want to supply globally, and we do supply globally. Well, today we have announced the agreement with Hyundai, which is a global manufacturer, and I don't think that algorithms or AI has nationality.
That's right. Well, a lot of people are listening to you right now, and can you please tell something, wish something for them? I don't know, to build business or to build a team, any other advices?
Well, first, that's a message to the world. I mean,
yes.
AI is something that will, I believe, will unite the people. I mean, because it has no nationality once again.
No religion.
No religion. No
politics.
I don't know. No conflicts on this kind of basis, and that's cool. I mean, that's something that can be. I wouldn't say it's a new religion, but it's something that can unite people. That's first, and second, let's think about safety, because playing with artificial intelligence sometimes can be dangerous. I mean, when you are after some hype, when you want to show some fast profits, or when you want to show something to your investors, sometimes you can, literally kill someone, because these are not toys. I mean, you should be very careful with it, and only when you're 100% sure, especially in such industries like transportation, you can make broad claims, and that's very important.
Yeah, so as far as I understand, the first is that you're telling about that AI unites people. It's like a community manager in new era. And second, you're wishing to just be careful with technology and don't use technology for technology.
Yeah, right. Do AI,
yes.
be good.
Yes.